How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Welcome back to the Count It All Joy podcast with your boy Will. And today I have a very, very special guest today. One of my closest friends, somebody who I've grown really close with over the past couple years now, and somebody I'm really excited for you guys to meet. Somebody who is extremely interesting, to say the least. That's an understatement. Uh, yeah, without further ado, have my boy Nate here today.
Interesting. Okay. Hi. Hello, Will.
What's up, dog? Again, yeah, it's my boy Nate. We've grown real close over the past couple years. We actually met a long time ago in high school, but we weren't cool back then. But we'll
Yeah.
get into that. I guess I can
Yeah.
start off with that. What was your first impression of me at Norcross?
I'm gonna be completely transparent. I don't
As
really
you
remember
should.
you.
Yeah,
I
fair.
I think I'm pretty sure my first impression of you was I want him to shut up. I want him to get away from me because you chat a lot. You were an abrasive kid. I'm not gonna
Mm,
lie to you. And I was
for sure.
very to myself. Go
Hmm.
find a corner to sit in. I show up to practice. I just want to get done with practice with minimal human interaction. And unfortunately, you didn't allow me to do that or allow others to do that. Your personality. So yeah, outside of basketball, I never spoke to you, which
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. Not mad at that at all. So yeah, that's my
uh,
first impression.
yeah, that's hilarious. I think that I remember. Obviously, we played basketball together, but I remember you from Coach Burkhart's. I want to say it was World History. It was some social studies class.
Yeah.
We were in that class together, and I didn't really, like I said, I don't remember any distinct conversations we had. I just remember it was this real tall dude, extremely dark skin, uh, and just sarcastic. That's all. That's all I do. I just knew he was sarcastic, quiet, and extremely dark skinned. Besides that,
You don't have to keep throwing in the dark part. Like I know I was dark. What are we doing?
okay, but yeah, that's I guess that's what I remember you from me as well. But yeah, we weren't friends back then because we didn't talk like that. And again, he was extremely. I would make jokes and he would just sit there and stare at me. I'm like, "What's wrong?" I thought you were. I didn't know what was wrong with you. I thought you were mad at the world, but
I was.
but yeah. Okay, like we touched on, we both played at basketball for Norcross. But for you, Nate, how would you? Because I've had my experiences at Norcross, as you know. How would you
Yeah.
describe your experience as far as basketball at Norcross High?
It was an interesting one. I, as we know, we both played on the freshman team together,
Hmm.
and then throughout the entire first semester, I was practicing with JV and freshmen,
Hmm.
and then after, I don't know if you remember him. There was a big on the JV team. He was a junior playing JV, and he deemed himself ineligible due to grades.
Yeah.
And so they moved me up. And from that day on, I started practicing with JV and varsity
Mm.
and playing JV. Now, as for just playing basketball in game, it happened. It happened. I was still garbage at basketball. I hadn't been playing long, so it wasn't like I had this incredible amount of experience and I was going into it thinking I'm top shelf, quote unquote. But I, the basketball part of things was okay. It's not anything that I hold dear to me. I honestly can hardly remember the majority of the games. I was just there. I remember Charles being the coach.
Yeah. Shout out Chuck.
That in itself was something.
Yeah.
He, I love Charles. I love both of them. I love Charles
Nice.
and I love Mike.
Right.
I just disagree with them on how basketball should be played.
Right.
And Charles is a hey, let's give it to the guard, let him go one on one. If you don't get a bucket, big being the dunker spot.
Oh
Hopefully
yeah.
you get an O board. Maybe you get a drop off. Probably won't get either. But,
Right.
try and make something happen. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
basketball was just
playing.
a Yeah, that fits you. Yeah, let me work out. Give me space. Yes. Hmm. So this big tooth right here,
Hmm.
kind of sticking out a bit. It's fake. You know this, right?
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Do you, do you remember the story as to how it happened?
I don't, not vividly, no.
Here, let me give you a bit of a refresher. It's actually a quick story. And this is why I actually I'm glad I brought this up
Okay.
because now it triggers the thought of the coaches at Norcross.
Mm,
I didn't even really cover that. All I thought about was
right.
Charles. I have a very fascinating relationship with one of the coaches, and I have a fascinating relationship with two of them.
Mm,
I'm not going to say any
right.
names, but one of the coaches is in this story. So it was ninth grade. We're in PE. We had a PE class of sorts, whatever.
Hmm.
Towards the end of the year, we're playing basketball, and I go up for a dunk, and this baseball player just elbows me in the mouth unintentionally and completely chips my tooth. It's chipped in half.
Right.
I'm baffled. I'm sitting here with half of my tooth in my hand and a hole in my mouth. This is new. So I go over to the teacher of the class,
Hmm.
who just so happens to be the
Right.
coach. And I go, hey, my tooth, it's chipped. And I'm not panicking, but I'm frantic on the
Yeah.
inside. And I'm looking at him with my tooth, and he goes, hey, open your mouth. And I open my mouth, and he just starts laughing. He just laughs in my face. I'm like, what what's going on here? He says, just go to the nurse. And laughing and literally hysterically laughing.
Yeah.
So I dip off to the nurse and I come back. I come back to grab my stuff because my mom, she was pulling up to the school to check me out or whatnot.
Right.
And when I go back to get my stuff, he's still sitting in the same spot. And I'm grabbing my bag. He's like, hey, Nate, come over here. And I go over to him. He was like, so what happened to you? I was like, I got elbowed in the mouth. He says, man, can I see it again? And I open up my mouth and he laughs again.
Nah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And now that I look back at it, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was just absurd.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the relationship that the coaches had with the players who weren't on varsity. You weren't on varsity, there didn't seem to be a lot of care,
Yeah.
which is fair. You know, you have your own program to run, a very successful team at the time. You know, they had Flip, Brandon,
Hmm.
Ray
Yep.
Sean, Lance. I think that might have been their last year
Yeah, I
there.
think
So
so. Yeah.
they had players they were worried about. But you would think that there would be some form of connection
Yeah.
or more care,
Hmm.
but there wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, the coaching side was a bit interesting. The playing side, I don't really remember too much of it.
Yeah. I think that I had a similar experience as far as, like you said, I played freshman and I played JV in my sophomore year. So both of those years, not as much, I guess, attention, you would say. I kind of hinted at this before, I guess, in the story time. I think I did. But yeah, if you weren't on varsity, you really didn't have any conversations with the head coach. Or I I was pretty cool with everybody on varsity, so I was cool with all the players. But as far as the coaches, I didn't talk to them. I didn't have any conversations. The first conversation I had with the head coach was when he was cursing me out. So uh, that was the first like
Crazy, right?
real interaction I had. Probably the last, if I could think of it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, uh, that's interesting. But you ended up transferring to Mount Pisgah. So
Yes.
I don't think I've ever asked you about your full experience at Mount Pisgah. I know you obviously won a state championship, which shout out for that. Shout out to that.
You know, big ring guy, but
Right.
first,
Uh, do you feel beyond the winning, which obviously you did, but do you feel like that was a great move for you as far as, I guess, your maturation and growing as a person and also maybe developing more relationships or a better relationship, I guess, that you didn't have with your other coaches at Norcross?
I personally believe that going to Pisgah is one of the best decisions of my life this far. I don't really think it's up for grabs. I My head coach there for 2 years. It was my junior and senior year. Coach Hicks, Matt Hicks and Honestly, the best coach I've ever had. And I think the guys there can agree as well. He's a phenomenal coach. He built relationships. He taught you small lessons during practice and outside of practice. He was very involved with us, and he was involved with our JV team players a bit, even though it's a private school.
Right.
So if you weren't on varsity and you're playing JV, you're either too young to be on varsity or you just really sucked at basketball. And, and he still made time to form relationships with the players who were just playing basketball because their parents forced them to get into an on school or out of school activity.
Right.
But as far as coaching go, 1000% best decision I ever made. I think going to Pisgah also shaped me as a person. I was extremely introverted, and I mean, I still was at Pisgah, but they were fine with that.
Right.
It wasn't like they tried to force me out of my shell. I progressively got out of my shell as my time went on. Developed some really good relationships with people there, some friendships. My best friend JoJo, he went to Pisgah. He was an extremely quiet kid as well.
Mm-hmm.
He got out of his shell. Granted, he wasn't extremely introverted in the way that I was when I first got there because he'd been there for some time.
Right.
But nonetheless, he was still a quieter kid. But yeah, I think Pisgah was the best decision ever. I developed some really nice relationships. Was given some freedom.
Right.
My sister was able to go there, which is also huge because I think that shaped her into the person that she is as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think there was a single downside to it outside of the bit of tuition that we had to pay.
Right. That's good. Yeah, I ended up going to another public school, Peachtree Ridge, but that is very interesting to hear as far as the experience you had with Pisgah because I didn't know I knew it was good as far as I guess basketball. Like you've hinted at it, but I didn't know you had a real great experience with your coach, which I'm actually happy to hear that. So I appreciate you telling that. And then I didn't know your sister went there too. I knew JoJo went there. And then Kashim, he was on my team at Norcross my freshman and sophomore year. So he was actually my teammate, yeah.
Wait. Cash went to Norcross our freshman year?
Yes. Actually, did he?
I don't think so.
I might be wilding. He was definitely there JV though. He was definitely there my sophomore year, for sure.
Okay.
That's for sure you're right on. He was definitely there my sophomore year because I remember he was on JV with us. I might be tripping about the freshman year.
I personally think you are because I don't have any recollection of Cash before my junior year of high school.
Okay. Well, he was definitely there sophomore year, but because you ended up going. You were practicing with varsity and like second half of freshman year, you ended up going with JV and varsity. So you probably didn't even see him like that.
Fair enough.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of switching topics here, but similar. So for basketball, especially before games, we listen to music. We try to get ourselves riled up for the game in different ways. Some people listen to various different music. For you though, no one wants you on the aux, right? I don't think anyone in any locker room has ever wanted you on the aux.
Oh, okay, I get it.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting it be known, right? So you definitely have. How do I say this politely? You dabble in music. You dabble in an immense amount on all sides of the spectrum when it comes to music. So I wanted to say, or ask you rather, how important is music in your life?
Before I get into that, I just wanted to be said that there are lots of people in this world who, when they're looking for someone to hop on the aux, they go, you know what? Let's swing it to Nate. Nate got us.
They must be miserable people.
We need to listen to something.
They must be miserable people.
Oh, we got a little comedian here. Oh, big funny guy, huh? But I have they're living extremely happy lifestyles. Much happier than you.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, get wrecked, noob. Anywho, music in my life. Music is extremely, extremely powerful.
Okay.
One thing about being introverted is a lot of the time you feel alone.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of the time you are alone. You're sitting in a room by yourself, sitting in a corner by yourself. And it's actually in the poem that I just sent you that I wrote about music.
Okay.
Music can give the ability or kind of give the embodiment of another person being in the room with you.
Mm.
It can fill a space without having to actually have matter in the space. It's this amazing thing if you become invested in it.
Right.
And I think that music is just one of the most purest forms of releasing art into the world. And it's an extreme level of vulnerability for a lot of artists, which is why I enjoy it.
Right.
So I'm a firm believer in there's good music everywhere. You just got to find it.
Okay.
So I'm not big on rap, but I'll listen to rap because there's some good music there. There's good music in jazz, alternative, rock, pop, indie. You got K-pop, reggae, all of this stuff. There's good music in each one of these genres. You look so bemused right
I
now.
just, I proceed.
But all of these genres are a way of expressing yourself, and it's a way of art. And I think that all arts need their form of appreciation.
For sure.
Because what we do, we play basketball. That's our form of expressing ourselves in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
That's our form of art that we give to the world.
Right.
And we wouldn't, I don't think that all of us would do it if there wasn't a level of appreciation that we received for it.
That's a fact.
If it was all just looked at as something that you're supposed to do or not something that you're getting credit for, you're not going to continue to do
Right.
it. So, and I feel like it's the same with music. And that's why I give it some form of commitment, but also just do it because I love
Right.
it. I mean, it's just amazing being able to listen to all these different sectors of the music world. I send you music.
Yeah.
I send a lot of my friends music because they don't dabble as much as I do, and I love to put people onto new music, and it's one of my passions in life. Honestly,
Mhm.
you got cooking, fragrances, sports,
Yeah.
and music. I mean, they're all on the same plane in a sense. But yeah, that music to me is just incredibly powerful.
Yeah. I agree. I think music is extremely powerful. I think the music you listen to, it definitely has a spirit on it. So that's why we need to be extremely cognizant about what we listen to. But yeah, I think as far as music, I'm not as well traveled or well versed as you in all different types of genres, right? I do, believe it or
Right.
not, I do dabble in various types of music. Obviously, I have gospel, I have rap, Christian rap or whatever. I don't listen to country, but there's country songs that I hear. Country is hard, right? Like country is a good type of music. I don't listen to it personally, but the songs I've heard, they sound pretty good. As you said, reggae. I have Haitian friends. I have people from the islands that listen to stuff like that, and I think it's cool. Again, is it
Right.
on my playlist? Absolutely not. But I think for you, it's just intriguing to me because you actually have these songs on your playlist. So,
Oh yeah.
and I just think that's cool. I think that makes you unique, and I think it makes you into the eccentric person you are. So I think all that falls under Nate Gordon.
Actually, I just, it's funny you say that,
Okay.
having Haitian friends. I just started listening to Afro beats.
Mm,
I started dabbling in that.
okay.
I got a lot of songs that I can send you. One of my best friends, he's Nigerian.
Okay.
His name's Vic. And so I leaned on him a little bit, but I also did my own venturing and learning. Yeah, again, I just listen to whatever I like
Right.
and whatever's good. Another point that I did want to bring up,
Mm-hmm.
though, I think music is one of the best ways and most passionate ways to display love for someone.
Mm,
I think it's extremely intimate, music is. And I don't think that gets acknowledged enough because of how the genre of R&B, which is generalized as the way of showing affection and love for someone, at least it was back in the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s,
mm-hmm.
etc. That being what it was has changed now.
Right.
Now the message is completely different.
Definitely.
Now we're having, instead of passion and love,
Yeah.
we're having just generalized sex
Yeah.
and sometimes drugs.
Facts.
And it's not the same message.
Yeah.
It's not the same message or the same feel.
Yeah.
But music is an extremely easy and very passionate way to show affection for someone.
Yeah. I agree.
country being one of those genres, but
Yeah,
being one of the top in my
I
opinion.
was actually watching I guess this is on topic, but I was watching a clip on YouTube. Cam Newton has a his own podcast or whatever, and he had a lady
Yeah.
named Carrie Hilson on there. I'm pretty sure she's a singer. She's definitely a singer, but she was saying how, because she was an R&B singer actually, I think, but she was saying how, I guess she does country now too, but she was saying how the difference. She was explaining the difference between the R&B world and the country world. She said she'll go from Atlanta, I guess, to do her R&B, and then she'll go to Nashville in Tennessee to do her country stuff. And she says she sees there's huge discrepancies between the two types of people that, I guess, create that type of music, and also the messages between the music. She said that when she goes to Nashville, she was saying like these are husbands and they're talking about family aspects in their music. And she was saying you'll
Mm-hmm.
never hear the B word in their music. You'll never hear them calling somebody the H word or whatever. Like you'll never hear that in their music because of
Yeah.
how they approach it. And she was saying she was talking to one dude or multiple dudes really. They were going home at 6 o'clock. She was like, "Oh, what are you about to do?" Because usually in Atlanta, 6, 7, 8, 9, you about to go to a club or do something like that. She was saying it's not like that there,
Mm-hmm.
especially for like the country singers. Obviously, you have your outliers, but she was saying the people she came
Yeah.
into contact with, they were going home around 6 o'clock. They're talking about, I have a family. I have to go see my wife, my kids, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's funny you brought that up with the country music. But
Actually, there's a perfect album that depicts this.
okay,
There's this artist called Luke
I've
Combs.
heard
He's
of
one
him.
of the most
Yeah,
popular country artists in the
yeah,
world, yes. He has an album called Fathers and Sons. I believe that's the name of it.
okay,
And the entire album is him writing about his children and his dad.
okay,
Him writing about those three. He has two sons and his dad.
right,
And it's writing about how much he loves his kids. He can't wait to get back home to them. How he feels like he's missed a portion of their childhood
mm-hmm.
being so active in the music industry, which he did end up taking. He's taken a break from music just so he could spend more time with his kids back at home.
That's what's up.
But that is actually fascinating that you bring that up because I do think that's incredibly true.
Yeah,
A lot of these guys in the country world are just committing to relationships early on. They're just trying to find a wife,
right.
and that's displayed a lot in the music. Whereas in R&B, you have Bryson Tiller, you have you got Brent, uh, just not pushing out the
Yeah,
best.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Especially Brent. Especially Brent, boy.
Yeah, that's funny. But okay, last week I had my mom on, so shout out my mom. Uh,
Love that episode.
thank you, thank you. Uh, but yeah, I had my mom on.
Oh, not you. I loved the mom aspect of the
Okay,
episode. You were okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah, you existed.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Nathaniel.
yeah.
Anyway,
My pleasure.
anyway, I had my mom on last week, and we had a segment. I don't know if you would call it a segment, but I asked her a question, just asking her how it was raising me, and I guess the difficulties behind it, or the fun parts about it, the good things about it. For you, you were also raised by a single mother. So how was that experience for you? I guess what were the great parts about it? What were the not so great parts about it? I guess what were some of your most memorable moments growing up with, just you and your mom? So how would you, I guess, explain that experience?
I would say it's incredibly shaping of who I am. I think growing up with just my mother and my sister, I eventually had Jalen. Jalen came along, but actually, we can get into that. So, I think one of the biggest downsides of it was the lack of financial stability at the younger parts of my life. I think from when we first moved out of Savannah, we moved to Riverdale, then Union City, and we were struggling for an extent for a good portion of time. And it was really rough because there was a portion of time where my sister, she went to school in Savannah while I lived up in the northern part of Georgia, or just hours away from her, because I don't think we could have afforded to live with her there. We couldn't,
Mm.
and it showed in it just showed we couldn't really afford to have her there. So I think that aspect of things was the downside. But outside of that, I honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It was rough. At times it was rough, but I think my mom did a excellent job. I mean, my mom, she's my superhero personally. My mom's my superhero.
Right.
I call her my best friend. Anyone that knows me knows that. I do anything for my mom
Right.
because she worked so hard to make what she had. She worked so hard to make what she had last for
Right.
us. She did everything her ability, clocked in hours of overtime. I mean, she still is clocking in as much overtime as she possibly can. She worked just incredibly hard to give us everything that we had. If we wanted something, she tried to get it for us. And she just did her best, and I couldn't be mad at it. The another downside, I guess, would be the lack of a father figure actively there,
Yeah.
which, as a black man, I'm sure you can relate. There's lessons that we had to learn later on in life
Right.
that we probably could have learned sooner if we had a father that was emotionally and physically there.
Definitely.
There are times you've hinted at this before. You hinted at it in the episode with your mom. Your father, he was there physically, but not really emotionally or mentally.
Right.
And that plays a big role.
Yeah.
Some people won't acknowledge it, but that plays a very big role. But I didn't particularly have that father figure actively there after we left Savannah.
Yeah.
My sister's dad, Jalen, his name's Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn, love Glenn. I actually call Glenn my father because of my whole relationship with my father, which a whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's who I consider my father, and he was there. He was actively there even after my mom split up with him.
Yeah.
He was actively there until we moved to Riverdale,
Mhm.
which is hours away from Savannah. Then his role changed. But, I mean, he still tried to do as much for me as he possibly could, which I appreciate him so much because it had a big impact on me.
Yeah.
But as far as just being with my mom, I think it really taught me a lot about how I view women and how I treat women. I feel like you could attest to this, being that you know me relatively well. I'm a good guy.
Right.
Right? I'm a pretty good guy. I'm not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy.
In my not a bad guy, I'm not a bad guy.
Right.
I feel like I'm personally a pretty good dude. I treat women well. I treat them how I want my sisters to be treated and how I always wanted to see my mom get treated.
Right.
That's kind of the lens that I operate life out of when it comes to women.
Yeah.
I would say that also being under that, I was raised by women. It's hard to open up.
Oh, for sure.
That was always something difficult for me.
For sure.
Because being raised by women, you're always supposed to be this macho guy.
100%.
Just being a black man in general.
100%.
You're supposed to be macho, extremely to yourself, channel things in. If something's wrong, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's kind of the lens. I mean, my mom it was never taught to me, but I heard her conversations with her friends and stuff, and that's the angle that was taken in some of them. Anywho, irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think the way that she raised me and her friends helped to raise me was to treat women with respect. They really raised me to be the ideal man that they wanted.
Right.
And,
That's
and
big.
They
That's a fact. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. They kind of taught me the lessons to shape me to be the man that they would have wanted to enter their life, in a sense. And they may not notice that, but that's definitely something that I took with me. And I've harbored that through life.
Yeah.
Now, despite being a good guy, I'm still single, which is kind of crazy.
Not for long, though.
Yeah. Hope not.
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I just got to make it back home.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the question.
Yeah.
Getting off topic. Yeah, I think I have also my family. Yes. I spent a lot of time in Savannah, even after I moved up to Riverdale and then moved later to the metro Atlanta area, all around Gwinnett County. After that, I spent a lot of time in Savannah. Any break we had, I went down to Savannah.
Yeah.
Summer, spring, winter break, all of that. I went back home, spent as much time with them as possible. When we lived in Savannah, I feel like I was at my grandma's house every day.
Right.
That's what my childhood felt like. It felt like I was always over there with my uncles and my grandma. Uh, I have genuinely no complaints really about my childhood. There's a lot of rough patches, some of which I won't get into on
Right.
here. I feel like you might know,
Yeah.
or if you
Yeah.
don't, I'll
Yeah.
tell you about them. But there was a lot of rough patches throughout my childhood. But for the most part, when it comes to just my mom and my family, they did a perfect job.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a more caring and loving and affectionate family. I couldn't.
Right.
I think honestly, I'm blessed. I got a 5 leaf clover when all I deserved was one.
Yeah.
So I'm very appreciative.
Yeah. I love everything you said. Uh, I I haven't been fortunate enough to have a real conversation with your mother, which one of these days I will, because all you said is
Mm-hmm.
great things about her. So I know she obviously birthed a great son. So I want to meet. I've met her, but like I said, I want to have an intellectual conversation with her, and I want to be able to see
Yeah.
it firsthand. But yeah, I love everything you said about her. One thing though that it's crazy that did hit home as far as uh they were raising us to be the man that they wanted, right? And
Yeah.
also on top of that, you saying it, you saying that, explaining that it was hard. It's currently hard to open up to women because of how we were raised, probably unintentionally, but
Mm-hmm.
raised. We have to take the bearing, take the. We can't always show our emotions with certain things. We, especially like growing up, not as much money, and our mothers were really doing it by themselves. Obviously, they had extra help.
Mm-hmm.
God was there, but and then family members that would help from time to time. But most of the time, it was just them. I think that it's important because you talking about it's. I'm actually coming to a revelation now. I've always wondered why I don't like opening up. I don't like being. I don't. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to say I don't like being vulnerable, but in senses I don't. I have to be extremely close to you. I have to trust you. I think trust is one of the biggest things for me. If I don't trust you, first of all, it takes a while for me to trust somebody in general. And when I trust you, it's still hard for me to open up. Like I'm dealing with that in my relationship right now. Like it's hard for
Yeah.
me to open up and just tell you certain things because I don't. I just don't like explaining my emotions like that. And I think it's.
Yeah.
I just. It was. I came to a revelation with that when you said it because I'm like, oh man, I'm the same way. I don't like. I don't like opening up to women. Like I said, it's
Right.
different with guys sometimes because we go through the same things. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, it's still hard to open up, but it's a little bit. It seems a little bit more free flowing, especially when I'm around my guys that I've known for a while or I'm just really close with. So I think it's easier for me to open up. But
Yeah.
as far as women, it is hard for me to open up because I don't want to be deemed as not even soft or anything like that. But it just seems like I shouldn't be putting my burdens on them. That's how it feels like sometimes when I
Yeah.
talk about the things that are going on or something that's bothering me. I felt like I've been not right, like I said, unintentionally again, but I feel like I was raised the way I was raised. It's like we can't just sit and mope and moan and just sit there and feel sorry for ourselves. We gotta keep it pushing. So yeah, I think you saying that makes it that made me think of that because I was wondering. I've always wondered why I I still struggle with it currently. Like today, I still struggle with opening up. So I've always wondered why, and I think an attribute of that is the way I was raised because I didn't want my mom. She had so much going on. I didn't want her to worry about what I was going on. So yeah.
Yes. 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 So let me ask you the question.
Hmm.
So you said around the guys, because we deal with the same
Right.
thing similarly,
Right.
give or
Right.
take here and there. But would you say that it's easy for you to open up around the guys about stuff that you're genuinely emotionally attached to? If you take it away from a problem, like say it's an argument that you and Issa
Hmm.
have, or something small,
Right.
one of these extremely small, miniature, kind of benign
Yeah.
issues, would you say that it's just as easy to open up about something that's major to you around the guys as it is the small things?
I think honestly, I think it depends who it is. I think,
Mhm.
and I'm not just saying this because we're on this, but I think that
Yeah.
with you definitely because I have to feel that you're genuine, right? I have to feel like whatever I'm telling you, you're not gonna go back and tell someone else. This is how I
Yeah.
operate. When I tell anyone anything, I automatically think that they're gonna tell someone else. So if they tell this person this, am I fine with them knowing that other person knowing that third party or that fourth party knowing?
Yeah.
And that's how I operate when I tell people things. Some people think that I might tell them stuff and it's like secret information. No, it's not. I'm assuming you're gonna tell somebody and the whole world is gonna know. It might be a little bit
Right.
paranoid, a type of paranoia, but it's how I think because I don't trust everyone. So to answer your question though, I think that it really does depend who it is. I can count on my hand
Mm.
how many people I fully trust. And if I fully trust you, and this gonna sound weird in a sense, but if I can leave my water bottle, if I can have a water bottle and I drink out of it, and I sit there and I walk away, I'm about to go to the bathroom, and I can leave it there and walk out the room and come back and still drink it, then I trust you because I was brought up and I've heard so many stories. My mom has told me so many stories about people who've gotten drugged, who've gotten, I think they call it rupee, whatever they call it,
Hmm.
laced with
Yeah.
things. Obviously, that deals with drugs, which I don't do, but all the same thing. I'm when it comes to that, I am a little bit paranoid. If I walk out the room, we've been in film. We've been in film. Y'all probably haven't noticed, but we've been in film.
Hmm.
And I have a water bottle and I walk out and I'm like, oh, I forgot it. It's not mine anymore. It's not mine. I don't know if somebody might not like me. Somebody might have spit in my water. It's what goes through my head. I'm getting away from the point. But to
Yeah.
answer your question, it really with that to that extent, with the little things and the big things, I think it depends on the relationship I have with the person. So I think we've
Hmm.
built a relationship where we can be vulnerable and we can just say what's on our mind and we
Yeah.
can vent because we have. So I don't mind saying the more giving intricate details and giving the more vulnerable parts of my life because
Right.
I know you're not gonna go back. You're probably not gonna go back and tell anyone, but I know you're not gonna go back and try to use it against me or anything like that because that's not how you are. So
Not yet.
you goofy.
My fault. My fault, bro. Fault.
But yeah, but yeah, bro. I think that with that it depends who it is. Like I said, I can count on my hand how many people I'm not thinking about what I'm saying when I'm talking because most people I do I have to
Yeah.
censor myself uh mentally.
Okay. That's a fascinating view on it. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. When it came to that, if I can answer this question, is that okay? If
No, you're fine.
I don't
You
want to I
fine.
don't want to get off
No,
topic,
no, of course not.
but
Everything's on topic here.
yeah. Oh wow. Why? Thank you. I feel welcome. But in that same line of things, I would say I look at it more so. I think I'm a fairly vulnerable
Yeah,
individual,
you are.
and for a good portion of my life, I was numb to a lot of my emotions. I was numb to melancholy. I was numb to, being joy. I was numb to a lot of my emotions for like a good year or two.
Yeah.
And slowly working out of a point of being that way, I've learned to express myself more. And being a communications major honestly helped with this a
For
lot.
sure.
I think it's really shaped the way that I communicate with people and it's helped me with my viewpoint of how to express myself. But I think what kind of determines I don't like expressing myself to other
Yeah.
people. I don't. And there's a handful of people.
Facts.
There's you, there's JoJo, there's Vic, and there's KJ. Now, me and Kelvin don't talk as much on the phone as say you and
Right.
I or me and Vic. 'Cause he's busy.
Yeah.
You know,
Busy in the
big
NBA,
league
dealing
guy.
with
You know, like doing the big thing in the league and whatnot.
just making well over six figures. Nothing crazy though.
Yeah, just being comfortable. you know, brothers living the dream.
Facts.
I absolutely love him. I love that for
Facts.
him. Honestly, I'm biggest supporters of a lot of my friends. I'm not his biggest supporter because he got family, but as for friends, like in that
Right.
realm. Irrelevant. I don't even remember what I was talking about.
You were gonna answer the question for yourself as far as opening up and being vulnerable.
You smart guy. Where would I be without you? Yeah. So I don't like talking to guys about my emotions because I always feel like I'm starting to get better with it because I want it to be a normal thing. I don't think we talk enough.
Right.
I think us as guys, we are very sheltered, which is why within my friendships, I'm implementing, hey, give me a rose and a thorn for the week. I'm implementing that. I want people to,
Hold on.
oh my gosh.
This is my first time hearing this. A rose
Really?
and a thorn.
I'm now noticing it. I'm doing it more in person than I do over the phone.
Okay.
So there are people that I interact with in person, and because, all right, bro, pull it together.
I'm sorry. It's just the way you were so serious with it. It is.
Incredibly.
I'm being facetious here, but it's just, I'm sorry. Proceed, bro. Proceed.
Are you sure?
I'm done.
You got
bro.
it together?
I'm done.
As I was saying, here we
Sorry.
go.
Okay, my fault. Let me lock in. I'm sorry. Proceed. Roses
Bro, next
and
play
thorns.
mentality,
Roses
bro.
and thorns.
When you say it like that.
Oh, I messed it up.
Anywho.
A rose and
No,
a thorn.
you're fine. Hey, next play.
My fault. Next play. For sure.
Yes, a rose and a thorn for each week. Give me a good thing, give me a bad thing, something mildly inconveniencing, something that made your week or made your mood better at some point in the week. Small things. Because we don't talk enough week to week about what's going on that we may be struggling with. And I think that can harbor up and we'll just build it up and try and move past it like nothing happened.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, the vast majority of men just need a safe place just to speak.
Right.
They just need a safe space from day to day just to get something off their chest. I know a good portion of people who's never really emotionally opened up to anyone.
Yeah.
And so something I'm implementing, again, it's more so in person. Now that you bring it up, I'll do a better job of doing it over the phone. Next time we chat, which will probably be Monday when you drop the podcast or drop whatever episode it is, because now I know it's every Monday. Right. Whenever we chat, we'll have that conversation. I'll bring it up because I think there's a level of emotional vulnerability that men don't have in general, especially black men.
100%.
And I want that to change.
Yeah.
There's this podcast that I listen to, and I've told you about this a million times or so. The Brilliant Idiots podcast. Charlemagne on there, he's big. He's pro men's health, and as trolling as he is, he's really big on the health of men, having discussions that can be uncomfortable, trying to express yourself and press that issue in itself, just so we can move forward and make progress in the right direction.
Right.
Because mental health is something that's spoken about, but it's not acted on.
Right.
And we don't want to stay in a place where it's not being acted on. We want to make progress. So I don't remember how was I getting to this? Yes, I struggle with talking to men in general about how I'm doing emotionally, but I've been doing better with it. As for women, I struggle with them as well because I don't like the feeling of it getting thrown back in my face, which has happened before.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it and I didn't. But I 1,000% concur. That is always a thought in my head where it's like, what if we get an argument and she throw it back in my face? I'm gonna be twice as tight at you at that point. Because I said this in the confines. I said this in confidence, thinking that I didn't think it would be thrown back in my face. Well, I'm lying because I always think it's gonna be thrown in my face. That's why I don't say anything. But
yeah,
you're
just hoping.
I've had to learn the hard way. Actually, have I? Not really. But I'm just saying, if I was like that, just opening up, that would be a thought. But that is a thought I have anyway, that it might get thrown back in my face, and that's why I don't open up to women like that.
Yeah, I'm learning to do it as I get older. But luckily for me, I don't interact with a lot of women in general. Truth be told, I don't talk to a lot of people on the day-to-day. There's definitely not a lot of women that I talk to on the day-to-day. So that doesn't seem to be a very big issue for me right now at the moment with where I'm at. But going into possibly, some talking stages, trying to lead in the direction of a relationship, it's tough to open up, man.
1000%.
Because I, I think the difference for me, the difference between me and
Hmm.
you is you find yourself in a lot of petty arguments.
For sure.
You do.
For sure.
You find yourself in petty arguments. That's just part of your personality, and that's okay. Me myself, I don't really do the whole argument thing,
Right.
and your arguments will escalate a little bit in terms of the volume and the tone and where it's heading.
Yeah.
My arguments are, hey, if we got something to say, we can chat about it. But once you start yelling, I'm out.
Right.
Because my mama didn't yell at me
Right.
growing up as a kid. Very seldom did my mother yell at
Yeah.
me. So if my mama not going to yell at me, why am I allow you to do it? We're not going to operate out of that.
Facts.
And also, there's a lot of facts behind this. I read meaningless articles. Well, not
I'm about to say,
meaningless
not
articles,
meaningless.
but I read a lot of random
Mhm.
ones. Yeah. A lot of random articles. And facts behind this would be that when you're mad or when you're angry, your body starts to tense up. That is a real thing. I actually learned this about working with kids. When you're working with kids, they get mad about something, they're throwing tantrums, their body starts to tense up.
Wow.
And naturally, as an individual, your body starts to tense
Yeah.
up. And when you're trying to calm a kid down, you'll tell them, hey, lower your shoulders for me. Shake, wiggle. That's why you tell kids
That's
to wiggle.
funny.
Wiggle.
That's funny.
Shake it off. Shake it off is a real thing because then their body will start to release the tension. They'll start to clear their head and calm down. It's this whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, as adults, it's the same thing. Our body starts to tense up. We now start to our mental process for how things are going up here. It's changing.
Right.
It changes inside of a discussion or inside of an argument when you start to raise the tone, raise the volume of what you're saying. Now you're more so in a battle of not so much I want to be right, but I want to be louder than the next person, or I want to make sure that my point gets across.
Yeah.
If you that's why I tell you, hey, we can have a chat.
Yeah.
We can have a discussion because then we're both level-headed, level-minded. We can have a very open and transparent debate or discussion about whatever's at hand.
Right.
And so it's not so much of a problem for me that it'll get thrown back because typically that happens out of moments of rage and anger. But I still always operate under the mindset that it will.
Yeah.
And which is why, again, I struggle to be vulnerable when it comes to talking with women.
Right.
But, I'm growing.
Yeah.
We're working.
Facts. As we all are. So, you growing up, you talked about how your mom, how you were brought up with your mom, but growing up specifically in Savannah, and you hit it at it a little bit, but growing up specifically in Savannah, Georgia, and if anyone knows how Savannah, Georgia is, it's an extremely rough place. Not for the weak. A lot of people die, honestly. And if whoever meets you, they would not think that that wouldn't be a thought that you grew up in Savannah, Georgia. So, I guess, how did that mold you into how you are today? Because no one would expect you're from Savannah. So,
for context of Savannah, I will say there's two sides of Savannah. There's really 5% of Savannah is downtown Savannah, kind of River Street area, where it's really nice and it's put together. It's made for travelers. It's made for visitors.
Right.
But where I grew up, of course, like you said, it's not the best of places to be.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, how I speak now, you would never, ever be able to expect it.
Absolutely
with
not.
how I spoke when I was a kid. Right. I spoke like my uncles, my aunts, the people that I was surrounded by. They're country,
Yeah.
Savannah is the country. It's parts of it that's hood, but for the most part, we all just speak like country people, kind of like Spud. I honestly spoke exactly like Spud when I was a kid, if not worse. If not worse. So
that's something.
That is something. And I've chatted with Spud about that a lot.
Right.
Anywho, I think growing up in Savannah taught me a few different lessons. I used to spend my time as a kid all the time. I was at the gym. I was at it's called WW Law. It's right across, it was literally right across the street from my grandmother's house. So I walked to the gym, come back, And I'd spend every day there doing whatever I could, whenever I was at my grandma's house. So,
Mhm.
being an active little kid. I
Right.
remember one day, this is actually a funny story. I remember one day, excuse me, I was at the gym. May have been like 10 or 11. I think I went home for break, went back to
Mhm.
Savannah for break. I'm there, we hooping, we playing pickup. And, when you hoop around us, you get a little chippy,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get a little chippy. And while
Definitely.
I'm not the argumentative type, I don't get
Mhm.
chirpy during games or anything.
Right.
But for some reason, I was feeling myself this day.
Okay.
So one of these kids, he was talking crazy.
Mhm.
Again, I'm like 11 or 12 at this point.
Right.
He's talking crazy. I'm I'm subliminally talking crazy as well,
Mhm.
throwing subtle jabs here and there. I'm on my J. Cole type vibes, throwing throwing some vibes here or some jabs here and there,
LOL.
whatever. And but he wasn't a moron. He knew that
Right.
those jabs were at him.
Right.
So he was trying to fight. He was older than me, by the way. I was just a big kid, so we looked like
Okay.
we were the same size. But he was like
Yeah.
13 or 14. He was trying to
Mhm.
fight. I'm not a fighter. Now that I'm older and more developed, I can fight.
Right.
But then I was a little punk. I was a little punk little kid. I was soft. I was very nice. I was a nice kid. I
Right.
was a softie. But he was trying
Mhm.
to fight. And so I was trying to stay at the gym long enough to where I didn't have to fight him when I got out of it. All right. This is how
Mm.
much of a punk I was.
Okay.
He wasn't going.
Yeah.
I stayed around. I just waited around WWE while all the people were still there and all the
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson was leaving, Mr. Virgil, all these people who are in charge of WWE, they're leaving. I'm waiting on them, but I refuse to snitch because that's shunned upon. I refuse to be a snitch.
Right.
Man, after everyone left, I remember Mr. Johnson said, "You gonna go home?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm about to start walking now." He's like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." Man, I started walking. This kid followed me. Kid you not.
Wow.
Footstep for footstep. He's like, "Come on, swing. Swing about it. Swing about it." I'm just sitting there looking. I'm like, "Bruh, come on, bro. You about to fight over basketball." He's like, "Swing about it then." Nah, you trying me. Swing about it. And he talking jive. So
Yeah.
I can't even unlock that version of myself anymore. That's
Yeah.
long gone.
Oh
But
my.
he followed me back home. And again, it's not a far walk. It's literally almost across the street.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, once we got home, I was so ready to go get my uncles because my uncles was inside.
Mhm.
And right before I got to the door, twin swung on me. He hit me one time in the chin.
No.
It was cake. I ate that. That was
Oh, you
cake.
had it.
Ate it. It wasn't nothing. But I was so scared. I'm like, what if he hit me again and I get knocked out? I'm not trying
Right.
to do that. So I
Right.
said, stay right here. I said, stay right here. I went inside. I got my uncle and said, "Hey, this kid just hit me." And I'm starting to hold my face. I'm playing it like this
Right.
genuinely hurt. Hey, this kid just hit me. And my uncle come outside, kid gone. He hit the feet. He
No.
hit feet so quick, boy. That was the last time I saw him. I hope he's doing well today. but, but all this to say that I grew up in a very fascinating area. Again, I was
Yeah.
lucky to be around family through it all.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that was a very influential and good part about it.
Right.
But when I wasn't around family, when I was in WWI, when I was at school,
Mhm.
it wasn't like it was at Pittsburgh. It wasn't like
Right.
it was at Norcross. These kids they roughneck.
Yeah.
My mother and my cousin, his name's Jared. My cousin, he told me a lot of different stories about, or I just hear them talk about people when they grew up in Savannah. If they had any form of promise, any form of potential, they never made it out.
Yeah.
It's almost like the city didn't want to see you leave,
Yeah.
and it's not like how it is in Atlanta. I had a conversation with KJ, and it's like
Mhm.
polar opposites from what he's told me. I don't remember if
Yeah.
he said it in the podcast or not. He said the people in the city loved him because he's moving in the right direction.
Okay.
There in Savannah, the way they played it out to be and the way it seemed like it is, it's
Mhm.
the exact opposite, polar opposites. I mean,
Yeah.
if you had promise, you weren't going to make it out, and if you did make it out, if you came back, that was your mistake.
Yeah.
And my mother, and I thank her so much for this. We moved out of Savannah when I was before I'd even made any headway into the person of who I am
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So when we moved to Riverdale, I'll never forget. We moved to Riverdale, and I used to say jive and ooh we shoot boy. That was an expression. Kid you not, these are expressions and words I used to use, and etc. I can go on for days about this.
Mm.
And people in the school that I went to in Riverdale they look at me like, jive's not a word. And I fought it. I didn't want to be gentrified.
Yeah.
Okay. I fought
Gentrified.
against it. So I got my Dr. Umar bag. I, I was I
Oh,
was trying to
damn.
fight against the gentrification, but
Mm-hmm.
slowly enough, I noticed myself changing. My lexicon was diversified.
Mm-hmm.
My just the jargon that I use was changed, and
Yeah.
I then learned that code switching was a thing.
Oh, for sure.
And man, I think that's one of the best skills that I learned. Learning how to code switch.
Yeah.
Granted, I am just unapologetically me, and I
Right.
rarely ever code switch.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll switch it up every now and then when I get around my family. My family
Yeah.
calls me proper. They call me proper. Uh, One of my aunts, she calls me white N word. She, she's joking when she says it, but it's one of those backhanded jokes.
Oh, for
Where it's
sure.
like I know
Yeah.
there's truth to it and how
Yeah.
she's saying it, but she doesn't mean it in any negative
Nah,
way.
that's
Like I don't take
hilarious.
it any kind of way. It's
Right.
definitely funny,
Yeah, it's
and
hilarious.
I see why she's saying it. She got a point. Okay, the way that I speak compared to the way that they speak is different.
Nah, that's funny.
But the point is I've changed over time with from where I was and where I've come to be, and I think
Yeah.
it's for the better.
Yeah.
As you can tell, you had no clue that I was from Savannah if I didn't tell
At
you.
all. Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that at all. Especially because I know a few people from Savannah and you guys are nothing alike. So, yeah, that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I'm trying. You remember Lennox, right?
Lennox, that's what I'm thinking about. That's one of the people I'm thinking about.
Oh, I don't remember much about Lennox. I just remember him
Yeah.
being from Savannah.
Yeah,
Now I
that's
think
I mean
about
that's
it.
all that's all I mean he was my teammate, but he was our teammate, but
Yeah,
I didn't really like him if we're being honest. But
yeah. Nor
uh
did I. Yeah,
yeah, but that's not the point. I hope he's doing well today. So,
yeah. So do I. I hope his life is going so good.
right. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um I do have another question. You hinted at this in one of your other answers to my questions, but also off air as far as us just talking. But
Mhm.
you mentioned that you were kind of numb to things for like a year, maybe 2 years, as you said, and you tried. Well, you didn't try. You did. You made sure things didn't bother you, whether they were good or bad. It was just life at that point. You were just indifferent to
Yeah.
it. Does your sense of, I would say, authenticity, and as well as bluntness, how blunt you are, just how upfront you are. You're just honest, right? Whether the person wants to hear it or they don't want to hear it, right? You don't say what's on your chest rudely, but you'll just say it how it is, how you see it, right?
Yeah.
Did it stem from that period where you were numb, or was that something that were you taught that way, like brought that way with your mother, or was that something that just developed over time?
It was during that period of a couple of
Right.
years. I think that was the majority of
Yeah.
it. I It was a rough
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything easy. It wasn't like this incredibly bad thing. It wasn't as bad as other people's childhoods have been. And I
You
like to
can't you
operate
can't
out of the
compare you can't
lens of it
compare
could
your
be worse.
childhoods. You can't compare your
Yeah,
childhoods.
that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. You definitely can't compare your
Right.
childhoods. And you can't compare your childhoods, can't compare your
Right.
trauma, your
Right.
depression, all of that. But in the sense of minimizing the way that I view the downsides of my childhood,
Mm-hmm.
I take a comparison kind of view
Mm-hmm.
to the people that I know and things that they've gone through. So I don't dwell upon my situation or give it too much attention or look at it in a specific lens. Irrelevant. What I'm trying to say is it definitely stemmed from that point in time, but I also decided to grow with it.
Right.
That was a conscious decision that I made
Mm-hmm.
because I don't I don't like being lied to.
Right.
It's not fun,
Right.
and I know other people don't like being lied to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at different points in my life have come to me looking for advice or coming to rant, and as I'm learning how to be a person, I'm learning how to have these social interactions. I'm slowly finding out that, hey, how blunt I am can become aggressive to some people and uncomfortable for
Right.
them. Which, personally, I didn't care, and I still find it hard to care now. You come to me and you're asking me for
Right.
advice, I'm going to tell you it with a straight face, whether it's a joyous thing or something that doesn't bring you as much joy, regardless of what it
Right.
is. It can be incredibly lighthearted. I'm just going to look at you with a straight face and just tell it to you how I think it should
Right.
be. Stoic would be
Mm-hmm.
the word to
Mm-hmm.
describe
Mm-hmm.
it. I think I've been stoic in a lot of those situations, and I never noticed the problem until I got to college and people started bringing it up.
That's funny.
So, which is weird. I thought nothing was wrong with it. And I'll never forget my freshman year at Converse. I had this friend. He played basketball. We had a friend group.
Okay.
We had a friend we played basketball
Okay.
with, and he was in and out of a relationship with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to Converse, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But he was in and out of a relationship with this one girl, and he would frequently, after they ended or were on a break,
Mm-hmm.
we'd sit down in Monty, which was the name of the student building, and have a discussion about where his relationship was at, what went wrong, what he should have done better,
Yeah.
what she could have done better. And every single time I said, hey, bro, block her. She ain't no good for you.
Right.
You ain't no good for her. You're both terrible for each other. It's not going to work. I don't even like her as a person. And that, I remember telling him I don't like her. He's like, you just biased. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't like her for a reason. Her personality is incredibly unattractive to me. Ooh. Anyway, that was this whole situation. But he wasn't very receptive to the message that I was putting out.
Right.
Everything that I said was
Yeah.
facts. It was facts. I may tell a joke, but I never tell a lie. Come on now.
Oh, dude.
But I was a troll. I've always been a troll. I was a troll then,
Yeah.
but I was never a troll when it came to situations like that. I was more so considered a quote unquote hater,
Mm-hmm.
which I am a hater. We both know that. I am 1,000% a
Yeah,
hater, and I embrace it.
Yeah, you definitely have a sponsorship with Haterade for sure. So, you know,
Crazy,
just saying,
crazy.
just saying, you're their number one athlete. So,
You know what? Thank
hey,
you.
you're
Honestly,
welcome.
I worked so hard to get to this point in my career.
You're welcome.
I want to start off by thanking my mother. Thank God, I thank all my people surrounding me, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be able to hate. So, thank you guys.
Goofy, bro.
I know. Anyway,
I know.
to the point. Back to the point. I've always been incredibly blunt. Essentially,
Mhm.
I've always been blunt, and again, with being a communications major, it's shaped me in different ways. It showed me that, hey, you can tell the truth, which is just how I viewed it. I always viewed it as I'm just telling the
Right.
truth, telling the truth how it is. And if you don't like most people don't like the truth.
Facts.
That's how I viewed it.
Facts.
And that is still 1,000% true.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is people don't like the truth thrown in their face exactly how it is, stock standard, simply cut.
Stock standard.
They like a little bit of grace with it.
Yeah.
They like grace with the truth, which is how you're supposed to deliver it, quote unquote. Different people, I'll give the luxury of adding grace to it, knowing the kind of person that you are. But for the most part, with my friends, with you,
Yeah.
with Vic, with Joe, I'm just going to tell you how it
Yeah.
is. Because y'all got thick skin, and if you don't, we couldn't be friends to begin with.
Facts. That's 100%. That's 100%.
If you didn't,
That's 100%. If you're
Yeah,
friends with Nate,
so-
you definitely have to have thick skin. That's what will show you right on.
which is why I feel like anytime I'm on the phone with you and Issa's there, I always feel like I have to be
Yeah, you definitely have
a
to.
different version of myself.
You do, bro, in a sense, because yeah, we're not gonna expand on that because I don't want to be in trouble. But yeah, I I I understand what you're saying, and you're 100% right.
Yeah, women have, let's just say women in general. Let's just
Yeah, let's just
generalize it
generalize
so
it.
it's
Let's not
not
talk about a specific
specific
person.
to her.
Yeah, yeah. Even
Yeah,
like, let's
yeah,
not
no,
like
no,
mention somebody like. All right, let me stop. All
because you have to start trolling.
right.
Oh, oh. But let's just generalize
Okay.
it and say women in general, the vast majority of women don't have incredibly thick skin and can't take me being
Right.
blunt or even take my trolling in
Right.
general. So I'll just say that in certain
Hmm.
situations around certain
Hmm.
women, I have to scale
For
back
sure.
and change the way that I relay some messages.
Definitely.
But yeah, yeah, us just leave it there.
For sure.
Close that book.
For sure. For sure. Uh, that is funny. I think, yeah, I think that I appreciate how honest you are, right? And how
Mhm.
blunt kind of has a negative connotation, but I don't really see it as a negative thing. I think being blunt can be a great thing in times. Like I think that sometimes you being and everyone's different, but I think for me, sometimes you just telling straight how it is with a straight face, like you said, with a stoic face, it needs to be delivered that way. Um, I think
Yeah,
maybe I think the benefit of that as well, because like I said, everyone's different. So sometimes they need the emotional support, the pat on the back, the caress of the shoulder, things of that nature, the kiss on the cheek, whatever.
yeah.
I think that the benefit of the way you deliver, come on,
Bro, bro, you gotta think. I'm thinking we're talking about like with your boys, how they need
oh
to
my
pat on
fault,
the
OG,
back,
my
and
fault,
then Twin just dropped the kiss on the cheek. Pardon me. I'm not
my
kissing nobody on the cheek, bro.
my fault.
That's so
I
me.
just keep it the pat on the shoulder, all right, or the yeah. I just keep
The
it
attaboy.
the attaboy. It'll be okay, right?
Mhm.
I think
Right.
I think that, but the benefit of the way you deliver things most of the time, I think sometimes it puts things into perspective. Like you'll just say exactly how you'll see it, like exactly how it is. And sometimes, especially for me, it gives me a different outlook because sometimes your judgment can be clouded based on what you're dealing with. So I think someone being there and just telling you exactly what it is, bro. This car is red. It's not purple. It's uh, like that's you need to know exactly what it is and not what you think it might be or how it might be perceived or what you were trying to make it. Like just sometimes you need to be told, well, all the time you need to be told what it is, right? Obviously everyone
Yeah.
wants a different delivery with that. Um but yeah, I
And
appreciate I
I
appreciate the bluntness. What you about to
I don't know why I just felt like I was about to cook with a
say?
quote. It wasn't even a quote from someone else. I just kind of made it up on the fly.
Okay.
It's funny because the car example that you
Hmm.
use, it's literally
Okay.
perfect.
Thank you.
It's
I
literally
appreciate that.
perfect. And the because whoa, hold on. I didn't mean
Oh.
literally
Oh.
perfect. And
Okay.
just what I was
Uh,
thinking in my mind, it was
uh,
perfect because what I was going to say was when light shines on a when light shines on the ooh,
oh.
oh Lord,
Hey,
oh
hey, let's
Lord.
let's take a
Hey,
pause. Let's take a moment of silence. 5 seconds, and we'll run that back.
all right.
All right. All right. Perfect.
Back to what I was saying. Basically, what I was getting at is that light can change the way that a color appears in our eyes.
Mm.
It fits perfectly with your car example. From your perspective, the car may look red, but from my side, the way that the light is reflecting off it, the car looks
Right.
yellow or the car looks
Mm-hmm.
purple. And so I do think it's incredibly true what you say.
Right.
The way that we shine a different light on the way that we see each situation that we have to chat about.
Yeah.
It's completely
Right.
different. Perspective is everything. That goes
100%.
for anything.
100%.
Perspective is literally
Yeah.
everything. And that's why I've learned to handle conversations differently with different
Hmm.
people, because the way that they perceive the way that I deliver this message, it will give off the negative connotation that I don't want them to
Right.
have. I finally got away from not caring if they viewed it in a poor way.
Right.
I finally got away from that.
Hmm.
But still, just for the sake of now trying to be a better person, trying to be more Christ centered,
Hmm.
the I don't want people to take stuff and possibly run in the wrong direction with it. I want to shine a positive light, in a sense, on different
Right.
situations, which is kind of off topic from what we were
No,
getting
it's
at.
fine.
But yeah, the light makes colors look
Right.
different.
I think that
That's essential.
I actually like I said, I love that analogy, especially since you kind of piggybacked off me because you saw me do it, so you just want to do it naturally, which I get. Monkey see, monkey do.
Okay, bro. Wow. Ironic, huh?
But it makes me bring up the question. So this is kind of a two-part question, really. Um,
Okay.
you are again. You're extremely centric and unique in your own right. I think it's a great thing.
That a lot.
And I think that's how it should be. It shouldn't be looked at any other way. It shouldn't be any other type of light getting shined on. It should just be looked at as a great thing, right? But you possess many gifts and different avenues of life and all of that. And I guess what do you feel God has called you to do in your life? I mean, I guess what do you say your purpose is? And this is the two-part question I want to bring into that. We mentioned earlier how you play how you play basketball, but you also bowl, which
Yeah.
that is I'm just gonna be honest here. As a black man bowling is one thing in
Yeah.
itself, right? But then a black man who plays basketball and he also bowls, I think you might be the first person I've ever met who has dabbled in both. And not even just both, but at the same time, he was never mind. But yeah, you currently, or I don't know if you can do it at your school now, but when we were at Emmanuel, you were dibbling and dabbling
Mhm.
both, which is really fascinating. You were actually really good. You would say you're not, but you were really good. I watched you.
I'm really
I
not.
watched you. I watched you. I watched you go toe to toe with the guy who was supposed to be conference. Sorry, I didn't mean put quote unquote. My fault, bro. But
Yeah,
the
let's not do
the
that.
guy who was one of the top guys in the conference, you going toe to toe with him.
Conference Bowl of the
Yeah.
Year.
So
Conference Bowl of the Year that year.
I'm gonna give you your flowers when it's due, and
Like,
I'm gonna troll you when it's due. But this time it's to give you flowers. So, okay, get back to the question though. You have a lot of gifts. You have a lot of things that God's giving you. What do you feel like your purpose is in life, and what do you feel like God has called you to do with just how many gifts you have in different ways? Like I said, you play basketball, but you also bowl. Those are two opposite sides of the spectrum. Most of the time, those
right.
two types of people. I won't say types of people, but those are two different types of people. Sometimes, like that doesn't even cross a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. It 100%
Facts.
is. It is.
So, how do you feel like the way God has made you and the way you have grown and developed as a man? How do you feel like that has, or what do you feel like your purpose is in life with how much you've done and all the different things you dabble in? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know, man. As a kid growing up, I had this real pipeline dream of being a commentator. I always wanted to be commentator for
I think
basketball
you would be
or
great, by the
football.
way.
And
I
now,
think you would be amazing, by the way. That's just my opinion.
I thank you so very much.
Just saying.
I do think one of my problems is I don't really understand how to get into the business itself.
Okay.
And I've reached out to some people that I know who have had connects in that realm, but it hasn't turned into anything tangible.
Right.
But nonetheless, one of my dreams was always to be a commentator, which was odd because I sucked at talking growing up.
Okay.
I was quiet. I rarely chatted. And a lot of my family can tell you that. I was a quiet kid
Hmm.
just to myself, but I was also, I could, when my mom got around, that's when I really pop out, you know. I, I started to show myself a bit.
Right.
When my mom got around, I felt like I was free to be myself. And I mean, slowly as I got, irrelevant, I'm rambling.
You fine.
Back to what I was
Hmm.
saying. I always wanted to be a commentator, and that shifted to a point of me where I wanted to be a coach. And now it's shifting from me wanting to be a coach to an athletic
Right.
director and all these different things. I ultimately don't know exactly what God has called me to do. I know what skills He's given me.
Hmm.
He's given me the ability to communicate.
Definitely.
He's given me a personality that can be appealing to some.
Right.
He's giving me the athleticism. He's given me gifts and knowledge, so much knowledge. He's putting me in so many positions to. All right. No,
Sorry,
listen. This wasn't even going
you
to be
just got
conceded.
me with the so much knowledge,
So
so
much
much
knowledge.
knowledge.
Okay. Well. Hear me out. I I have been so fortunate to be surrounded by, or put in positions to where I'd be surrounded by older people.
100%, 100%. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
told you about
Yeah.
this. One of the last times we were on the
Hmm.
phone was there's no shortcut to knowledge outside of a mentor.
Mm.
And while I haven't had an official mentor, I've had a lot of older people who I could chat to like they were.
Right.
So lots of my coaches, one of my coaches from what was the team name? From Hype Hawks.
Hmm.
For the life of me, I can't remember his name, but I could see him. He played for the
Okay.
Hawks. But I was able to chat with him a lot, pick at his brain, take some lessons from him.
Mm.
My grandfather, chat with him a lot. A lot of stuff I wouldn't take from my grandfather,
Right.
but there are a lot of things that I will because he's incredibly smart, well into his life kind of guy. My boss, just finding these different people, older people that have lived so much life and have become experienced in all these different realms and they could drop little nuggets of information and knowledge onto me. And along this way, I feel like I've been so blessed to be able to meet them because they taught me so
Right.
much. Now, what am I going to do with that? I'm not incredibly sure. I know that I can be a coach.
Hmm.
I 1000% know that.
Hmm.
And I actually had a lot of motivation to be a coach when I got to high school and honestly still throughout college because a lot of kids play sports and don't have fathers while they're playing them.
Facts.
Especially like a lot of black kids are growing up without
Yeah.
parents or growing out without a father figure.
Yeah.
And I was blessed to have a couple of different people serve as father figures with the teams that I went
Hmm.
to. There's this guy, his name's Coach Ken. Coach Ken was pivotal to the way that I developed as a person. And he may not know it, but he welcomed me into his home, treated me like I was his son.
Hmm.
So I have no complaints. I have nothing but praise for him, essentially.
Right.
But my point is, if it weren't for him, I don't know if I'd still be the same person that I am today.
Right.
And if it weren't for other small father figures here and there that helped and dabbled and dropped little ounces of knowledge and taught me these small lessons that I may have just breezed by as a kid, but I've come to really appreciate them now, I just wouldn't be the same person that I am today. And I kind of want to serve as that role for kids down the line.
Right.
I also believe that coaching, the high school level, AAU, especially AAU,
Hmm.
I feel like there are a lot of bad coaches.
Most of them are.
I 1000 we can talk about this for
Definitely.
hours. I feel like there are so many bad coaches and for so many different
Yeah.
reasons. But majorly I just think a lot of them aren't looking at it from the purest point of
They're
view.
not.
Like they're doing it to boost their own
Mhm.
agenda, try to find their ways, work their ways into the next stage of their career. And it's no longer about the kids.
It's not.
And that's another thing. I worked with kids, and I do think I'm made to work with
Right.
kids. Unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately. That's
Unfortunately, it's crazy.
Unfortunately, it's crazy. It is, in fact, crazy. I worked at WinShape Camps.
Shout out WinShape.
Big shout out WinShape. I'm repping it here. You know what? On my laundry bin, the top shirt's another WinShape
Okay,
shirt.
nice,
But anyway,
nice.
I stay with the WinShape merch. That's all I'm saying. I got a WinShape sticker on my
I'm
Xbox.
dead.
And I'm rambling.
Okay, that's fine.
Back to the point.
Mhm.
WinShape was. I went into that I didn't like kids.
Right.
I didn't like them at all. I actually really despise the
Nah.
kids. I didn't want to spend time with them. I honestly only worked WinShape so I could grow closer to
Yeah.
God. I kid you not. That was my initial motivation. And as I continue to work it, I'm like, okay, kids still suck. They're, but there's reasons why they suck. They're not just bad. They're not. Kids can be annoying, but
Yeah.
they're not just bad. You know, and I worked it for 2 summers. Honestly, I grew closer to. They taught me a lot about myself. Kids are incredibly transparent,
Hmm.
and it's challenging, especially when we were there to teach them about
Right.
Christ. It was challenging working with these kids because they'd ask us questions that we didn't have the answers
Right.
to. They'd ask us questions about ourselves that we didn't have the answers to.
Yeah.
And it was, I think I've learned to enjoy that. I've learned to embrace it. And I love that.
Right.
And I want these kids to ask that question to me because I know that I probably asked that question to some other old man at some point in life.
Hmm.
And he was able to give me a really insightful answer that shaped me.
Right.
And I kind of want to do the same thing for them.
Right.
And so I basically just look at it as I'm called to give back to some extent,
Hmm.
whether it's giving back just knowledge to kids, giving back my personality, teaching them lessons, doing whatever I can. I just want to be impactful on at least one child's life
Right.
and just show them that if they don't have a father, there's a brighter side to this. You know, that's not your future. Your lack of a father is not going to be the definition of you. You know? So, yeah, I think so. To answer your question, I do think that I was called to do something with
Hmm.
kids, whether it's coaching, whatever it is. I think I'm called to do something with kids. But personally, and I do think God gave me the skills to do it, I do want to become a commentator.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. What?
sorry. I don't know how that sounded. I don't know how it's gonna sound like once it comes out. The I don't know.
It sounded
Yeah.
weird. You'll
Okay.
hear it.
Okay.
You'll hear it. It sounded weird.
Um. Well, I love everything you said. I do think that you are an elite not commentator. You are elite. You're an ooh,
Hey, take 5 seconds.
for sure.
Ball up top.
Okay, for sure. That's crazy that happened twice in here, but it's fine. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I was saying that you are elite when it comes to communication. And I think that a gift God has given you is the ability to communicate with not just a certain person, but everyone you run into. And I think that also you being able to spread that with children and the younger generation, I think that would be great. And I think that is something you've been called to do, especially with how honest you'll be and how, like you said, vulnerable you can be. Uh, but going off the my he, that was with the commentating because, as you
Yeah.
know, that's one of the things I want to do in the future. I want to be able to commentate games. I want to be able to do broadcasting. That's something that I figured out I wanted to do in probably high school. That was something I wanted to venture into. And from someone who wants to do it, I'm letting you know now, I think you would be top tier. I know you would be top tier if you
Well,
really
thank you.
just put your foot through the door. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out how I would get to that as well. Like you said, it's not something just straightforward. Like, okay, let's go to broadcasting camp
Yeah.
or commentating camp. Like, or let's get a commentating internship. They're not really gonna let you go on the airs and just commentate about anything. So
Yeah.
um I think that I think it's interesting you also said that because that is something that I want to venture into as well and be able to use my skills to do. And I think you would be great in it as well. Uh so yeah, I appreciate all of that. Wrapping up a little bit though, I've said this word maybe 3 times this episode, but it's because it's what I
Okay.
think you are. You're eccentric. I think that's the perfect way to describe you. There's a lot of other words to describe you as, but I want to know yourself. And I don't know how I would answer it myself about myself. But how would you describe yourself in one word? Or to give you more wiggle room, a phrase. But that might be harder because I don't even know how I would describe myself in a phrase. Anyway, describe yourself in one word or a phrase or a sentence if that helps you.
Before we do this, it just came back to my
Okay.
mind. Before we do this, I want to go back
Mm-hmm.
to the last question. We were chatting about
Mm-hmm.
bowling. Okay, we were,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I ever told you
Okay.
this, but the only reason, legitimately, the only reason I decided to transfer to Emmanuel was
Oh,
to
you told
bowl.
me that. You
Did
told me that.
I
You told
tell
me
you
that.
that?
You told me that.
Right.
Which is
Okay.
insane, but
Yeah.
hey, it's whatever.
I I probably would have finished my 4 years at Converse. Or no. I would have finished the next year at Converse and transferred
Right.
out after that. But legitimately, the only reason I went to Emmanuel, and I feel like people don't know this, the only reason I went to Emmanuel was to
Yeah.
bowl. And once I figured out that I couldn't bowl and play basketball as much as I wanted to, I couldn't bowl as much as I wanted to,
Right.
as much as I said I was going
Right.
to, I had to get up out of there. Like I gotta get up. I gotta get up out of here.
Shout out Lambo.
But man,
He's
what?
hilarious.
And he feeding families with
He's
these
hilarious,
these
bro. He's
videos
hilarious.
on Instagram, bro. Yeah, but I don't. Oh yeah. This is what I was getting at. Do you know how long I've been bowling?
You said you didn't start until I want to say you started like during the summer of your freshman year or something like that.
Yep, summer of my
Yeah.
freshman year of
Yeah.
college. So literally, the decision to transfer to Emmanuel came a week before I was supposed to go back to
Mm,
Converse, and you guys were already a week into
right.
school, and I I called Nate Williams.
Uh,
I called Nate,
sorry.
and don't do that. I called. Let's start over. I called Nate Williams, and I the ladybug. I called Nate, and I said, "Hey, you guys looking for a big? I want to bowl and play basketball there. I know you guys got a bowling team." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, we do." And
That's exactly how he sounds.
exactly. So he looked around, he made something happen, woo 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 woo, and I ended up getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I suck. That's when I genuinely suck. Now I say I suck. No, Will, I was actually garbage when I first got to
Okay.
Emmanuel. I was genuinely garbage. I started on JV. I was awful. It was bad. Like I was genuinely terrible.
Okay.
I just got better because I bowled every
Right.
day. I did it a lot. But anyway, yeah, I feel like this is something, this is completely irrelevant, but I want to say this. You want to do something and you think that you can do it, you can. Just put your mind to it. I didn't think that I was actually going to be able to bowl in college, and it turns out that I could. And I could still, honestly, if I wanted to right now, I could drop basketball and transfer somewhere else and finish out my career just bowling. I 1000% can. Because while I am garbage, I would still be usable on a
Bro,
lot of teams
you're
in this
not
nation.
garbage, dog.
Anywho, if you have the thought process of you want to try something, you want to do something. I'm saying this currently. Actually, this is a question that I've started to ask people. What is something, a dream that you have that you want to do that you haven't done? And why haven't you done it? I've started asking that to people.
Okay.
Actually, would you like to answer that question?
Actually, one more time for the people in the back. First.
For the people in the back. Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. So, what is a dream that you have? What is something that you want to do that you haven't done? And why haven't you done it?
I think for me, my dreams are really revolved around my future self. So, really, I'm trying to work towards my dreams every single day. So I wouldn't say that I'm not chasing them or I haven't done my dreams. I don't know if that doesn't
Yeah.
sound right, but basically I'm currently trying to work towards my dreams and aspirations and goals. I think my personal dreams. Other
Mhm.
dreams people have, like traveling certain places or having this experience, I
Yeah.
don't. Those things never really pop in my head. I just never been. My mom will ask me all the time. Like we're supposed to go somewhere on vacation before the summer's over, and she'll ask me, "Where you want to go?" Mom, I'm fine with just staying in the house, going to the gym, doing my thing, working on this podcast, and yeah. If I was going to work. Like I'm extremely
Yeah.
simplistic. I don't want to say I don't have an imagination because I can at times, but when it comes to things like that, as far as like every day, I'm not as creative, I guess, when it comes to that. It's just I'm thinking about the day to day, and then the end goal is my dream, my aspirations, and how am I going to get to that. And then, like I said, as far as getting these different experiences, going these different places, or doing these certain things with different people, never really pops in my head. But as far as the dreams that I want, most of them are long term goals. Something as far as my career. So I would answer that as
Right.
I'm trying to chase them every day, or I am. I feel like I'm chasing them every day. I'm doing what I need to do every single day to get to where I want to, as far as my dreams. I don't know if that answered your question.
All right. Well, that's
Okay.
it. Actually, can I say something to one of your
Of
points?
course.
You you were saying I'm the same way when it comes to being
Mm-hmm.
simplistic, enjoying sitting in my
Right.
room, staying away from
Right.
people. I'm very big on
Yeah.
that. I would almost still be in the exact same state of mind as you are when it comes to traveling, but I've changed a bit, and I find it extremely fascinating how I've done it. It's one day while I was working in
Mm-hmm.
camp. I don't. You've been to True
Yeah,
McConnell,
I
right?
have.
I don't know if you've actually seen their camp. It's not a big
Mm-hmm.
campus, but they have this really big hill with a cross on
Okay.
it. I don't know if you've seen it,
Probably not. No.
but okay, that's fair. There's this really big hill up there with a cross on it, and because that's where Cleveland camp
Mm-hmm.
is for boys for
Mm-hmm.
Windshape, and shout out Windshape.
Shout out.
I went up there one day, one night. It was one of the days that I was able to get done early with what we were doing. So it was probably
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. I got done. Everyone's going their own separate ways. And no. I wasn't working. It was a Saturday.
Okay.
So everyone's going, everyone's doing their own thing. I went up there just because I just wanted to walk and get out of my room for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I went up there and I brought my Bible with me and I started to read my Bible. I went up there and the sun started to set. And if you don't know, this is in the
Okay.
mountains. So I'm able to look across and see other mountains. And the view is beautiful in itself, but this is the first time I've actually just watched the
Mm-hmm.
sunset. And I'm looking at this and it's just astounding.
Right.
I mean, it's just this beautiful view. And I've always been curious when it comes to what the rest of the world looks like. I've always wanted to travel, but I've never made it a point of mine to actually do
Right.
it. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, I just wonder what this looks like in the rest of the world. So I started to look up some different places and look up places with just gorgeous views, beautiful sunsets. And I mean, the possibilities are endless. There are so many different places to travel just within the States. The States is
Right.
huge. United States is just this humongous
Yeah.
place. And Europeans, when they get here, they don't know that for the most
Yeah.
part. Irrelevant. That's
It's
irrelevant.
fine.
But I think that, and I also every now and then, it's not a frequent thing. I do go out and I like to look at the stars. I think
Ah,
the stars are
stargazer
beautiful.
boy.
A bit, a
Gazer,
bit,
gazer, gazer.
an adult, folks. This is a grown man. Uh, but yes, occasionally I'll take one of the quilts that my great grandmother knitted for me, or yeah, she made for me, and I'll throw it out there on the ground, lay down, look up, find a place with low lighting,
Mm,
and just look at the stars. And I think it's beautiful what God created,
right.
essentially. And I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice and doing Christ a disservice by sitting in this one bubble that I
Right.
have and not venturing out and getting to see more of what he made
Right.
and just sit there and relish in it. You know, just sit back and soak it all in. Pause. Just want to be able to.
Keep going, dog. Says soak it all in.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know what I said. I'm anywho, isn't this all right, this is kind of off topic. But isn't this thing that we call life just so fascinating? I mean, the amount of people in the world, the amount of places that we haven't seen, it's just beyond our superliminal bounds. Something that we can't truly comprehend. And that's part of the reason why I want to go travel and do as much traveling as I can during the summers, because there's so much to go see. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to see, but one thing that you can assure yourself is it's going to be a new experience. And why not have as many as you can? Because we're not guaranteed life. I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mm.
You know, and with that being said, if we're not guaranteed the next day, why not try and make the most of what you have? And so I want to use time, and I haven't done it. Actually, you know what? Screw it. That could be my dream. I haven't traveled, and I want to travel. Why haven't I done it? I ain't got the money.
Right.
I don't. I'm a little broke. Like
Fine.
I just don't have the money to do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
But nonetheless, hey, hard out here for a pimp. Let me
Come
stop.
on, bro.
That's not my body. That's not my body. It's really not. I'm a good guy. I'm not a pimp. But anyway, back to the point. I just think that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that life isn't guaranteed,
Right.
and I want to make the most of what I have.
Mhm.
And part of that, I do want to travel
Right.
because I think we live to work
Mhm.
is what it seems like,
Yeah.
or we work to live. Honestly, I think it can be viewed in both
Yeah.
ways, but we do so much work. We're putting in so much work, and I don't think we give enough time to reward ourselves for the work that we do.
Right.
And I think the time that I've given myself has all been in my room,
Mhm.
which I'm complacent with. But God didn't make the world for us to just sit inside of four
Right.
walls. He didn't.
Right.
He didn't make this entire beautiful creation just for us to sit in the same chair doing the same thing every day.
It's true.
So I want to start to venture out and have some new experiences,
Yeah.
which is why I offered you the opportunity to come with me to Apalachicola,
Right.
because I want you to share an experience with me,
Right.
you know, my dog. So, you know, if you're
Love
available,
attitude, gratitude.
again, attitude, gratitude,
You know. You know.
you know.
I'm dead.
But yes, back to your question, which we've strayed so far away from.
You have, but
One
yeah.
word to describe.
Sorry.
You know, I'll hold myself
Yeah,
accountable.
just hold it.
Accountability is
Just
huge.
hold it. Pause.
Yeah,
All right, bro.
I'm holding
Okay.
the accountability. Anywho, one word to describe myself. I think the easiest word, the first thing that come to mind would be the word peculiar.
Yeah, that is a word I use, but that's a word I use for you. But again, certain words have negative connotations, so I stopped using it. How about you?
Yeah.
When I first described you before we were close, I was like, yeah, Nate, he's kind of peculiar. It's like what I said verbatim. But as I got to know you, I think that peculiarness is what makes you. So at that point, that's why I say eccentric. But proceed.
You can just say there's a different light shined on the way that you view peculiar.
Facts.
In the sense of me, the light that's reflecting off of me to you for the word peculiar, it's a green light. You
For
feel
sure.
me? But if you were to attach peculiar to a random individual, ooh,
You good, bro. You good. No, you good. You good. Keep
Okay.
pushing. Keep pushing.
good
Yeah,
looks,
yeah,
good
facts.
looks. English
You
is
almost
hard.
turned the ball over.
If you were to
You
shine
almost
that
turned the ball
light,
over, but I picked it up. I'm passing it right back to you. You got
okay,
it.
thank you. My fault. Uh, Would attach the word peculiar to some random individual and shine a light on them and maybe
Yeah.
random. They're random,
Yeah.
but you know me. Anyway, I think peculiar would be the easiest. I'm trying to think of something else that'd be more, I don't know, I guess more
Hmm.
intimate in a
Hmm.
sense. If you had to choose another word for me outside of eccentric and peculiar,
The word I was about to say, I'm not saying it. Uh,
I
man,
really want another word.
nah, I'll say it off air. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. I would say again, this is another word that is a generic type of word. It's overused, but unique. But that's an easy word to use.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I'm like,
Right.
and we're big on words, the two of
Extremely big
us.
on words. We have
So
our own note, shared collaborated note with probably over 100 vocabulary words.
yeah. And I apologize because
Yeah,
I did fade towards the end of the year,
you're fine.
and that's
You're
on me.
fine.
That that's on
I
me.
actually have some words that I need to update on there. I've just been moving,
So do
and I
I.
have about at least 5 or 6 of them that I haven't added. So once we get off this, I will do that.
Wow. I got a couple. I don't have them around me. I think they're in my car, but I have sticky
Okay.
notes that one, my athletic trainer, he's big on trivia and all the
Yeah,
random
you told me.
stuff in
Yeah.
life. So yeah, so he would write me some words, but also when I'm watching shows or listening to a
Mm-hmm.
podcast or something whatever I'm doing, if I hear a word that I don't know and I like the way it was
Mm-hmm.
used,
Write it down. Jot it down.
go ahead and
For
jot that
sure. For
down.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, give it, and then when I get home, I give it a goog.
But give it a
You
Goog.
know.
Oh, dead.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess anomalous in a sense.
Mm. I like that one.
Yeah, I guess that could fit a
Yeah.
bit. It's straying away from the standard, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Hey, let me give it a
Okay.
goog.
Give it a Goog. That's
Let me
fine.
give it a
That's fine.
goog. Yeah, anomalous is deviating from what is standard, normal, or
Okay.
expected.
Yeah,
And
I think that would
a lot of
describe you.
times it's not
Right.
intentional. Yeah. So yeah, well, that'll be my word. I'll say I'm
Okay.
anomalous. I'm very far from what you would consider your average
Yeah.
individual. Because there's no such thing as
Right.
normal, but there is an
Yeah.
average.
I definitely agree with that. You're not the quote unquote normal human being, but I think that's what makes you you. I think when you are normal like everyone else, I don't think that's a great thing. But that's just my opinion. But uh yeah, I think that you have shown how anomalous you are, eccentric, whatever, unique, all of that in this episode. Um I'm extremely ecstatic that you joined. Uh I hope that you got some.
You haven't given me your word for yourself.
Ah, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's a word that I love. All right. Uh
Hmm.
I don't want to get too long-winded about it, but I don't
Okay.
think I've used it in a sentence, but I always use it to myself. Like I always just think about the word. It's weird. But this doesn't fully describe me, but it's a word that I just like, so I'm just gonna say it. But sagacious. Uh Sagacious. It
Sagacious.
just means like you're kind of shrewd, you have mental discernment, uh kind of wise. Not I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm not at
Wow.
all. I'm not. It sounds sarcastic, but I'm not. It's just a word. I really like the word. That's really what it is. I really like the word, and I feel like at times I can be sagacious. So I think that I wouldn't I wouldn't describe myself like that. I would more so describe myself as I don't know. I think I think at points I can be nah. I don't know. I don't know how I would what one word I would describe myself as. I want to think of something comical, but then again, I'm more like I love comedy, don't get me wrong, but that one a comedic
Yeah, for
word
sure.
wouldn't describe myself fully. And then a more serious word wouldn't
Mm,
describe myself fully. So I'm trying to figure out a medium, but
you're elastic.
say that again?
You're elastic.
Ah, Elastaman. That's
All right. That's it's not sticking to it. Let's go ahead and put that one back in the vault. As Bub would say, save that, man. Save that.
I actually like that word though, elastic, because I was thinking of
Yeah.
something as I was gonna say contradictory, but that's a negative connotation. But as like I'll appear one way and then I'll appear another way, but I like elastic,
Hmm.
so I actually love
Yeah.
elastic. So I appreciate that. So we have
Yeah. My
anomalous
pleasure.
and elastic, anomalous man and a elastic man. So again.
Two terrible cereals. We not saving
Oh,
anyone.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'm about to do some researching right after this. But yeah, again, I appreciate you joining, bro. Like I really enjoyed this. Again, this is I was telling my mom, like these, especially with people that you really appreciate and value and respect, this can be extremely cathartic and just therapeutic in a way. So
Yeah.
I appreciate
Great
this.
word.
Uh, Thank you for joining. I thank you for giving insight and not just giving it, but actually giving detailed, intricate insight and you know expressing yourself and being vulnerable to a certain extent. So I appreciate that. I'm glad you joined. I know that everyone that's listening enjoyed this, and I hope they can learn from all the joking that we did. I hope they can actually find the silver lining and uh, take away from the lessons that we both learned and the things we've been through and
Yeah.
try to apply it to their lives and try to use it for their betterment and their maturation in life. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, hey, thank you for
Of
having me,
course.
man. If you know this, of course, because again, I call you every
Right.
Monday pretty much. But love the podcast. Avid listener. I've listened to some episodes twice to take more from it. I love
That's so much
getting the
love.
most
That's love. That's
context.
love.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm on here. I'm being extremely
Wow.
serious. I do listen to the episode with your mom. I've listened to it
Wow.
twice so I can make sure that I can pick up on what I
Mm-hmm.
missed and just continue to get as much
Right.
context and understand everything as much as possible. The one with your other friend Austin,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Austin. Austin.
Austin.
Yes, sir.
I listened to that one
Oh
twice.
wow.
I listened to the one with KJ
Oh wow.
twice. I personally just love the podcast. I love what it's bringing. I was incredibly happy to be on here. I was waiting. I was waiting. I I thought I was going to get pushed back until I got back in Georgia. But apparently someone wants 1.2 million listens, streams, downloads. So I figured I'd give you a banger right here. Just drop a banger on you. but, but yes, in all seriousness, genuinely, thank you for having me on here. I honestly couldn't wait to be here.
I
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate that, bro. I'm happy you're on here, and later down the line, I do want to have you again. Something I'm trying to do. I'm still trying to figure out all the logistics around it, but having story times with other people. So I think that'll be cool, and I
Mm,
think we're both pretty good storytellers, and I think you'll be able to unlock another side of me. Pause. Uh, as far as storytelling, so I think it'll be cool us to be able to. I was about to say something else. Us to be able to bounce off each other,
I see it.
and I think that
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I think that that would be really cool. But I appreciate y'all for joining, man. We gotta get off this because this. I appreciate y'all for joining,
Yeah, let's
man.
just.
Stay blessed, stay prayed up, keep God first, man. Also, another thing I told y'all I was adding in love, attitude, gratitude. So I want to say that love, attitude, gratitude, and yeah, I thank y'all for joining, man. Peace.
Peace.